What does self-mastery have to do with it building on a already good organisational culture? So you might be asking me, well, why would you try to build on a really good organisational culture? Surely that's enough in and of itself. Well, in many ways, yes. However, it's also very useful to consider the possibility of building on something that is already very good, because an organisational culture can be seen a bit like a garden, in that it doesn't just sit there unchanging. It doesn't just stay in the state that it is in. It will continue to morph and change as time goes on. So if it's well tended, then it will flourish, and if it's not well tended, it's less likely to flourish. And one of the best ways to set the context for tending your culture is to actively build on what you already have. Because what you're doing then is you're emphasizing the growth imperative that exists in all people, all people I've met so far, or most of them, that exists in people, and that also exists naturally in a collective of people who are working together. So regardless of any other pulls and drives that may be present of a less auspicious nature, the growth imperative is always there to some extent. So the active choice to build on a good organisational culture is a creative and sensible, wise thing to do. Because if you don't do that, then you're in danger of the opposite happening, a contraction, a devolvement, a downgrading of your culture. So when you're looking at doing that, one of the most important questions to ask is, how is it that we have the good culture we already have now? What is it that has brought that about, and what is it that keeps that in place? And what are the powerful points of leverage that we already have? And understanding that is something which takes quite a lot of personal exploration and inquiry, in addition to whatever kind of surveys or assessments you may be doing with external consultants or with your internal teams. Your own view on this is vital, because from where you're sitting, you're the only person who has your perspective. So your perspective really must be in the mix, otherwise valuable stuff is going to be missed. So in order to do that, it's useful to do a bit of a kind of a regroup on your own sensory acuity and perceptive faculties and observational skills, and your own ability to interpret your felt experience, as well as the statistical measures of goodwill, staff satisfaction, all of those other things, and the productivity figures in your organisation. So self-mastery helps you to do that. It helps you to bring in a new source of data which will inform you in a way that nothing else can. And then when you combine that with your other sources of data, you're in a much stronger position to see where you are now, what tools and resources you have at your disposal, and that leads naturally on to looking at ways to leverage your culture even further than you've managed to bring it so far.